Hello again. During the last talk, I said we'd take a couple sessions to discuss some criticisms of Stoic philosophy. One of the major ones by both scholars and laymen has been that Stoicism seems to be essentially passive. That if we're taught not to desire any external objects or goals, that life will lose its challenge. And admittedly, there does seem to be, at least superficially, an element of truth to this observation. Without the desire for fame and glory, would Alexander have conquered his empire? Would any of the great explorers, Da Gama, men like that, have accomplished anything if it hadn't been for the desire for fame and wealth? What about the great captains of industry, the most successful military commanders, even our best scientists? They're often motivated by goals that Stoics would say are improper. They're externals. They're outside of our control. If the majority, or even the best and brightest, adopted the Stoic way of life, isn't it likely that society just might stagnate? The Stoic life, they say, may be one of peace and tranquility. But is it the peace of inactivity and withdrawal? Now, I don't think this is at all an accurate picture of Stoic thought. Some of the misunderstandings come from its similarities to Buddhism. Remember, in traditional classical Buddhism, we're taught to renounce, to eliminate, to extinguish all desire, all attachment. And ultimately, since that's the only way to escape from karma and samsara, from the cycle of death and rebirth, really only the monk or nun can expect to achieve enlightenment. There are Buddhist rules of conduct for the layman, but basically the only hope they have is that in the next life they can be reborn as a monk or a nun. A family life is simply incompatible with renouncing all desire. Now, Stoic teaching is quite different in several important ways. First, there's nothing otherworldly about it. The Stoic teachers, even if they believed there was some kind of afterlife, and the Greeks and Romans were not sure of that at all, they focused instead on happiness and duty in this life. Happiness is to be found in the knowledge that we can achieve our goals because we choose those goals that we can achieve. No one can prevent me from affirming a true statement, denying a false one, or following my moral principles. That's within my control. The results, yes, may be outside my control, but the efforts are not. Now, I will admit, sometimes Epictetus comes off as a little fatalistic, particularly if you do just kind of a superficial skimming of his work. He was always recommending that you avoid public life. It's save yourself the trouble, friend, it's not worth it. But we have to understand why. He lived in a time when the empire was always ruled by a despot, maybe a kind, good one, maybe an evil, degenerate one. Maybe an Emperor Trajan or Marcus Aurelius on the one hand, or a Domitian or Caligula on the other. Every emperor, though, was a tyrant, and the only way to get ahead in public life was to curry favor with the tyrant or with the toadies that hung around him. This was, he felt, simply not worthy of a man. Now, if we read the works of the people who lived earlier in the Free Republic, we get a completely different picture. Cicero, who was a follower of Stoic thought, extolled the public servant who lived by his principles. This was one of the highest forms of civic life in the Republic, which was still free. Men could make a difference, or at least strive to make a difference. And they could do so without having to curry the favor of a tyrant. They could actually do something. This is far more applicable to us, no matter what you might think of, oh, I don't make a difference. it's still a free society. Now, how does this work in our day-to-day life? Well, I can't guarantee that my family will be wealthy. That's beyond my control. I can work hard, invest properly, but things can go wrong. For us, things did go wrong. But we can still strive. I can do my best to be a responsible husband and father, to carry out those duties. The duties that come with those roles, and they do have responsibilities and duties. I am morally responsible for my actions. Maybe not for the final results, but I am responsible for acting. I cannot escape that. I am wrong, not if I fail, but if I make no attempt. Look back at the story, I mentioned this earlier, of the woman who sent packages to her exiled friend. Her friend never received them because the emperor's soldiers took them. But was the effort really wasted? See, I don't think so, and I got a lot of criticism at the time I mentioned it. Oh, that was a waste, no. Somebody made the ridiculous comment, oh, well, you should have changed the system. Under Domitian, there was no changing the system. All right? What did she accomplish, though? The most important thing is she did the right thing to help her friend. Too many of us would take the easy way out and decide that, well, why waste the money and effort because it's not accomplishing anything? Well, isn't it? We're simply rationalizing a moral failure. If this woman ever had the opportunity to meet her friend later, she could state truthfully that she had done what she could to help. Now, what could she say if she decided the effort was wasted? Oh, sorry, but I gave up on you, I wrote you off. And even if they never meet again, see, she can look in the mirror without any self-reproach. In this case, it's certainly true. The concern about results would more likely lead to inaction than action. There's another way in which the Stoic emphasis on efforts actually helps us live an active rather than passive life. Since it's actions, not the results, that matter, I have no excuse for not acting. I mean, never. Now, of course, not every decision we make is a moral one. Do I want baked potatoes or mashed potatoes with dinner tonight? Do I want maple syrup or strawberry syrup with my pancakes? Who cares? So what? But many decisions we make do have moral consequences. And when we don't act on those, when we fail to act, even when we're impelled to do so, that's when we have failed. You can say, yeah, well, I'm just one person, what can I do? Well, you can do whatever it is you can do at the time, can't you? There's certain actions you can take. Maybe you can't build the city by yourself, but you can lay that brick. That is within your control. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.